So hello everybody, my name is Simen Larsen-Frivoll. I'm here to talk about something that's really dear to my heart, namely drinking. But also in a IT kind of way. So this is some of the beautiful people I work with, but yeah, disregard them. I'm gonna separate this presentation into two parts. First, there's some files, and then there's a demo. And like every story, my story has a beginning, and this is the first part, the presentation part. So this story is about brewing beer, of course. But I want to give some background to what happened really here and why it came to be. I've been have been so fortunate to be here today. Thank you, Ronny. I've been a tech head, I've been to Fiore Makers and all over the place doing this presentation. Nobody cares about my day job, doing serious applications for serious international businesses. Everybody wants to talk about the beer. So, but I just assure you, I have a day job and I do serious things too. But my story begins with my mother. This is my mother. I like my mother. And I don't have this tattoo yet, but it's just to point out this is my mother. A few years ago, she thought that it was a good idea to buy a brewing kit for me, because she also knew about this hobby of mine, drinking. So maybe this would be something for me. And she also knows me enough to know that if I start trying to do something, then I will try to do it as good as I can, right, to the best of my ability. This is just the way I am, the nerd part of myself. So she bought a very small brewing kit. It was 3 years ago or something like that. And this was this small thing. And this is my son, and but he's not drinking. But we were trying it out and testing it and checking how we can really do this. This is my house. And I thought, okay, I got this brewing equipment now, so what the hell, let's try to make the best of it. So I started to do some easy, small-scale research. So I started to brew a Berliner Weisse, because I like that style. And it was really going pretty good. And I was starting to really like it because this is physics and it's maths and it's all these kinds of sciences I really like to do. So it's appealed to me in every way, really. But well into the second batch, disaster strikes here too. I noticed you had disaster strikes also. So, but my disaster was in a different way. So I was running around with my brewery, trying to get hoses and stuff, and then I ended up in the hospital. This is me in the hospital. I actually fell down those stairs while not drinking. Nobody believes me, but I was not drinking. But this is, yeah, maybe that I should have been drinking. So I broke my leg. And I'm doing this for a little dramatic effect, because I thought I wasn't that bad. But I fell down the stairs, felt my ankle, I felt something was missing, and I thought, let's go to the hospital. It was not a proud moment, lying on the floor beside my brewery, crying. So my neighbor came over to me and carried me inside. That was strange. So then I ended up with this. This is my leg now with some nails in it and screws. And that meant, of course, holiday for me. No more work for a while. And then I thought, yeah, okay. I'm home now. I can't do anything for a while. I was obviously on a lot of drugs by the doctor. And not so I had lots of time, so I thought maybe I could read some books and try to do this at the best of my ability. And right now I had a broken leg, so I couldn't really move around a lot. So I needed automation. And then I needed automation. And then I talked to these guys. Some of them are here today. And I thought I need some partners in crime with the 2 legs and also a brain. So they can help me to maybe develop something. And we quickly understood that it's obvious that we use the things we know. So everybody in this team and my other teams, I work for EY Sky, by the way. So we work with Cloud Foundry, Node. We work with, of course, ABAP too, but SAP Fiori, UI5, the Cloud Platform in general. This is what we do anyway. So let's try to make a brewery with this technology. This is what we know. Easy way to go forward. Super easy to do applications in SAP UI5. And Cloud Foundry is there. It's a trial account. I still have a trial account. So it's possible to just create a new email and then renew the trial account. So indefinite access to Cloud Foundry. I'm not sure if SAP wants me to say that, but it's possible. And then, because this is easy, quick, I don't have to buy anything, beautiful solution really for me. And then I found, when I was thinking about that, I looked next to me at the desk and I saw, okay, there's the Raspberry Pi I was using for something else. So why not use it for this? That's the rationale for using the Raspberry Pi. It was there. So, so then I went online to buy a lot of different types of sensors, because I started to write down how the brewery should really work, because I wanted to do it as best as I can. And this is not like sponsored by. This is next picture is from my brewery, and it's not like EY sponsored. They're not used like loads of money put into this. So this is my cellar now. And this is a brewery that I made everything here. So I had to learn plumbing too. I think that was all plumbing, electricity, and a lot of physics and so on. So all these things I've done all of these things. These are different sensors and so on. I will annotate this picture like that. So I'll go into more details about the brewery in the next slide, because it's a principle slide. I just wanted to show this a real thing. I can now brew about 160 liters of beer a day, and that's about what I need. So I'm stepping up my fermentation game to ferment more. So this is probably a little bit of a secret, but I will tell you anyway. I hope next year on SAP UI5 Con, I hope to sponsor the party with my beer. So the people that's going there probably can taste it. And that's going to be interesting, trying to smuggle through a few hundred liters of beer through Europe. But that's for another presentation, I think. So I have about four 16 kilowatt heating elements. That's a lot. So I needed to get. Am I on time now? Oh, I didn't start it. How much time do I have left?
About 30 minutes.
Good. That's perfect. So I had to get the electrician guy to come in and create power just for this, and that was surprisingly expensive. And I also had to go through different iterations of different types of hoses and connections and sensors, what works, what doesn't work, because I have temperature sensors all over the place, different types of temperature sensors, because some stuff needs 0.000 accuracy, and some things just need 0.00. So just to be, I'm a nerd and I like to do it precisely, right? And also all these kinds of, I made holes for it for these huge power heaters in here. There's pumps all over the place, 4 different pumps. There's a counter flow chiller. I can go into the physics about that, but I just send hot beer through the one way here, and the other way I send cold water, and then you can chill beer at 100 degrees to 20 degrees in seconds. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And there's valves all over the place. I will change the valves to electronic valves. I haven't been able to do it yet because I actually have a day job. Yeah, and this costs quite a lot of money. So the kids had to eat, couldn't eat so much for a few months there. But yeah, in the end, I'm here now. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the principle of brewing beer. Because it's important because of the application I'm going to show you afterwards. Because this is replicating how to make beer. You notice there were 3 different tons or kettles. I will exchange ton kettle. It's the same thing, right? First, we have a hot liquor tun, we have a mash slaughter tun, and then we have a boil kettle. So the beer goes through different phases when it's kind of born, so to speak. I feel like I'm giving birth to a beer here. So the first thing you do is you fill up this hot liquor tun with water, just water. And this tun has heating elements, and it has a coil. And this coil I can come back to later. So the first thing you fill this up, and then you set the hot liquor tun to an exact temperature. It has to be exact. And then you take water from that one into the mash slaughter tun. That's another kettle, and that contains malts. So malts are grains that's starting to spire. Yeah? No, yeah? Emerge, like the green thing coming out?
Sprout.
Starting to sprout, thank you. But then it's stopped, so it's full of sugar. So if you add water at the specific temperature, the water goes into something called the wort. That's sugary water. It's super sugary. It's surprisingly sugary. And then we fill up that, so it's water and malts there. And then we switch off the connection from the hot liquor tun, and then we recirculate the wort out on the bottom of the mash slaughter tun, down in here, through this coil and back again. That means that we don't have to have a heating element here, because that could burn the malt and create bad beer. So this means that the temperature here would be perfect, right? Very, very close to perfect, all the time. So we have indirect heat going through. We also have, because it's coming from the top to down and then, we have filtration as well at the same time. And then when we're done with that, I'm finished now. When we're done with that, we just take all the wort from the mash slaughter tun to the boil kettle, and we boil it. And while we boil it, we add something called hops. That's the beer consists of water, grains, hops. Hops are the spices that makes the taste, really. So Pilsner has not very much hops, but an IPA or a New England IPA have huge amounts of hops, and you can taste that. It's very different. Most of you know this. Think more than me have the hobby of drinking here. It's not just me. After that, I just pump it out to a fermenter, and that's the critical part, because then it's important not to have germs or some kind of foreign objects in the pumping system, because the beer will be bad. So it's 50% washing, 50% brewing. So this is the process of brewing beer in a semi-professional manner. It's not like the big ones use similar things, but they use bigger vessels. Okay, so we'll do a demo. This is the bottle. This is the bottle I use. It's called Krudlehedna for Norwegians here. In the western part of Norway, there's a word for curly head, like semi-funny way of saying it. This is krullehead. So this is now my curly head, crazy curly head sometimes. So that's the bottle. I like that too. It's a designer for EY that did that for me. Okay. So what I do is that I use this is an application running on OData on the Cloud Platform on Cloud Foundry, and the Raspberry Pi is running a Python script, and that Python script sends OData, receives OData, and I've written that myself or a colleague has written. I'm going to go through two different functions in the brewery today, or three actually. One is the process, and one is the analysis. We have other stuff here too, but I need a bigger, maybe a whole day to do that. So the process, okay, so I was asked a few weeks ago from SAP why I hadn't followed all the standards of development. And the reason is easy, because since this was an application we made for ourselves, Celine and Joanna and stuff, I just wanted to try out the new controls because they were new. So this is the rationale behind using some of these controls, because yeah, they were new. I would like to test them out. So what we do, this is actually what I do when I start a new brewing process. I just have to have it in demo mode, yeah. So the first thing you do when you start, this is standard SAP UI5. There's nothing. This is all standard except the Python script that we wrote. So the first thing is to wash everything, sanitize equipment. If you don't do that, the beer will be crap. Is that bad? I can say that, right? Yeah. And then we start the hot liquor ton, and then we set the temperature. In this case, we set it to 66 degrees. As you see here, we now have 82 kilos of water in our hot liquor tank, and the temperature is increasing. We'll just increase the time increments here just for demos, right? So it's not going that fast. It's not like going 1 degree a second or something. It's just to demonstrate it for you. So when we're doing the heating the hot liquor tank, since it's 82 kilos of water, we have to recirculate to make everything be the same temperature from the bottom to the top. Okay, so it's recirculating. Then we'll just skip to the next step. Mash in. This is when I take the water and pour it over the grains. I also set the temperature here and how much liters of mash water I'm going to use. So this happens here. I'm adding weight, so the weight is going up. Well, we're just adding water from the hot liquor tank to the mash tun, and the grease is starting to stabilize. Thank you. So here we just have reminders of what we're going to do here. There's nothing really cool going on then. And then, after the water is in the mash tun, we start the actual mash. And we can also, this is the temperature here is super important. This is just whole numbers, but depending on the temperature we use here, we can have a full-bodied beer, like for autumn and winter, or we could have a lighter beer for the summer, for the body. But we can also add different types of grains to have it darker, lighter, these things too. But we can start this now. 90 minutes is a long time for mashing. It's mashing around, being happy, recirculating through the coil now, and then we mash out and we increase the temperature to wash out all the sugars and then send that to the boil kettle to boil the beer. So now we're increasing the temperature to 78 degrees. And then it's over in the boil kettle. and then we start the actual boil. So boiling temperature is usually 100 degrees, and then and then now at this point where the beer is the water is kind of heating up, and then we can add hops. So adding hops early to the brewing process gives you bitterness in taste. Having hops later in the brewing process or at the end of the process gives you aroma, like taste, flowery taste, stuff like this. So we can add hops here, and then it will add hops and log that. We can add finings because grains also consist of proteins. I mean, need to get rid of those because it's just chunks, kind of, in the beer. So we add finings and we boil the wort and we measure gravity. Gravity is a measurement saying how much sugar you have in the wort. If you have a lot of sugar in the wort, you will get loads of alcohol. But some that's probably a good thing. I see you smile now, Ronny. But some beers require lower amounts too. You can't have a 10% Pilsner, for instance. That would taste not so good, I think. But other beers require higher. So you have to fix this with the style. After that, then we just end the process really with finishing. So the finishing means that we take the beer out of the boil kettle, and then we change the temperature from 80 to around 25, 27 degrees, so the yeast can eat the sugars in the wort and produce CO2 for the bubbles in the beer. So we harvest that. So I use the same CO2 to get the bubbles in the beer, not adding, and also add the yeast so the yeast can eat it. So this is a good temperature, a little bit high temperature for the yeast to eat the sugars. So this is the whole process of brewing beer with the SAP UI5, Fiori, Cloud Foundry, the whole thing, but no SE80. No SE80. So, but my point here, and I think this is quite important, is that these tools are really good. It's super easy to make these applications. It is easy to make these applications, and you can use it for private projects and also for work projects. People are talking sometimes that it's difficult to use these products. I don't believe so at all. It's just that you have to try to do it, and you will be amazed. It's fast, it's smart, and it's very beautiful to look at. What I also use is analysis. So during a brewing process, I will log everything. So this is the reason why this is quite old here is that I brewed a couple of days ago, and I really botched the process. I did something wrong in the brewery. It went fine in the end, but I didn't want to show you a fucked up brewing process. So we used an earlier one that we already have test data on. So Selena did that. So here we can see the development of the different temperatures on the different parts of the brewery. And this means that we can replicate the same beer many times. If we find out we did something really good, then we can do this exact same thing over and over again. And yeah, that's the general idea. And also, there's some waiting during the process. I can just put this on my phone or on the laptop on the table and just see when this, for instance, this temperature hot liquor tank is ready for doing the brewing process. Yeah, that's kind of it that I wanted to say. Am I too early now? How much? 20. Okay, but then we'll have to have a lot of questions then.
Anyone?
A lot. It's
What?
okay. Lots of questions?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, only two. One, what's on the... We know we are using Cloud Platform here.
Yep.
What are you using? You said Python on the Raspberry Pi. But how are they talking to each other?
Okay, so the We have the Raspberry Pi is running a Python script, and that Python script is running all the time, and that's sending data to through an OData interface to a database. I use a MongoDB because I couldn't afford the HANA licenses. What?
Could I have a cash box? A small tip.
Yeah.
If you want to use HANA,
Yeah.
use HANA Express Edition. Get a small Intel NUC and just put up your own HANA instance. It's free,
Yeah.
up to 32 gigabytes,
Yeah.
and you can use it in production.
Yeah, but then maybe you can do that for my project. Then.
I will.
Okay, good. Thank you very much for that question. That actually helped me getting a new member of the project too.
Did you have another question?
Yeah, but it's sending back again. So this is sending to a database, the MongoDB, and the application, the Fiori application is also sending to the same MongoDB. So while it's writing data, it's also getting the new data for the settings and stuff. So it's just doing the same thing, OData, both ways. Yeah.
Anybody else? No? Sveinung? Did you have another one?
Number 2?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Number 2, why didn't you go? You had Raspberry Pi.
Yep.
Why didn't you install Cloud Foundry on the Raspberry Pi? Go on premise, just to say it somehow. Why
I
the
wanted
cloud?
to-
Apart from the marketing reasons, right?
I thought it was for me. It was just it was not a really decision that I made. It was just there, and I thought, okay, it's already there on the cloud platform, so less effort for me to just start it there. And I also wanted to check out the Cloud Foundry because I hadn't done. I also wanted to learn. Yeah. So, yeah, I could just run everything Node on my local, but it's cool to run it on the Cloud Foundry. But because I also had some customers wanting to do more there.
Mm-hmm.
So, curiosity, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that good enough reason?
Of course.
Yeah.
What would you say was the hardest part of this technically?
Plumbing. The plumbing. But yeah, the technical, the plumbing was hard, but in terms of doing the development, I think, yeah, it was, what was the hardest part? Help me, Selina. It was quite easy, really. It wasn't, we do this every day, all day, so it's, it was researching how to make beer, or more the physical side of it. The development side was not very difficult.
Cool. Good answer.
Yeah.
Nobody else? Okay. I think we'll say.
I'm sorry if I said there was. Usually I use about 45 minutes on this. I was maybe talking too fast today then.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you.